Hello my lovely bubbly people, welcome back to my channel. My name is Jessica and this is Bubby's Bubbles. Tonight we are making a soap that is very near and dear to my heart. I have been working on this soap for months. It is the New Mexico soap, the Land of Enchantment soap. I've got a lot of details that goes with this soap. So for this first part I'm making one part of the soap tonight, and then tomorrow we will be coming back to make the rest. So let's go ahead and get started. First things first, I have my lye water here with my oils, and I am going to go ahead and put my lye water into my oils and strain them, just because I've had a few times where these little bits, and you can probably see them here in the strainer, just didn't dissolve all the way, so I don't want those to go in, and it's just a little bit, so it's not going to make a big difference when the soap saponifies. Alrighty, so it looks like we are just past emulsification, and that is all I want to mix it to. So tonight we're going to be working with two different colors, and this is going to end up being our mountains. And if you've ever been to New Mexico, one of the things that it is famous for is the Sandia Mountains. I lived in the Sandia Mountains, and I lived there for 16 years. Our specific mountain was called Thunder Mountain, and it was in Edgewood, and it was a lovely childhood, and I'm really grateful that I got to live there. So this is my homage to New Mexico. The first colors that we're working with here for this part of the soap, I have some Orange Vibrance Mica from Nurture Soap, and then I have Green Vibrance Mica, and I put just a tiddly bit of Mocha Brown Mica into them, and I may put some titanium dioxide, but I want to see what they look like before I do that. See if it is the color that I am going for. So I'm going to scrape this clean, make sure we get all of the soap out of it, but while I'm doing that, I'm going to put this picture up to show you what my inspiration is for this part. I want to do this sunset on the mountains because that is what I always thought the Sandias were just, it was showcasing all of the beauty of the Sandias when I saw the sunset. And I am using Crisp Juniper for our fragrance, and it smells so good. It really throws me back into our property. It really throws me back into my childhood home because we lived on 5 acres of pine and juniper trees, and when I saw this fragrance, I was like, this is the perfect fragrance for the New Mexico soap. So I'm going to go ahead and get it locked back on and mix these babies up. So the thing with these mountains are that there are trees on them. There are definitely trees on them. But there's also like patches of dirt or like tan that you will see where there's not evergreens. So I've actually been putting off this soap because I want it to be perfect, and I mean, like, I am not an expert at soap, because if you look at some Japanese soaps, man, those are crazy. But I really wanted to like bring in some detail and show you guys some of what soaping can do here. So I am going to start with just plopping this in there. And for the first part, it's going to be like any other drop swirl. I'm just going to kind of throw it in there a bit. Kind of do a lot right there. And then I'm actually going to go back and I'm going to mix both and make it thicker. So the first part's going to be a little thinner. I wanted it to kind of look like the foothills. Let's see if it works out. Okay, so it's not crazy thick, but you can see it's a lot thicker than it was. So for the next part, I am just going to be taking turns with doing a little bit of green, a little bit of brown, or orange, not brown, orange, and just kind of mixing it through. And this is only gonna fill the soap mold about halfway, or a little over halfway. Then we're gonna let it harden up, and we're gonna come back tomorrow, and I'm actually gonna carve it out a bit. Okay, so we'll be back tomorrow. I'll see you guys then. Hello my lovely bubbly people. So my name is Jessica and we are back, and you probably just saw the montage of how I made this mountain embed soap. First I poured it, oops, that was like totally out of frame. First I poured it, and that was the first part of the video, and then I kind of molded it with a spoon and with my hands, and I did my best to kind of make it look like a mountain, and I'm hoping that the swirl is a little more intricate inside than it is right now, but we'll see how it comes out. I hope it looks like a mountain. So the first thing I'm going to do here is I'm going to put this back in our mold, and just gonna set it in like that. So let's see here. I'm going to actually try and center it a little bit, so I'm gonna tap it. There we go. Okay, and I don't know if you can tell on the camera there, but there is a little bit of space on both edges. And I'm just doing that because I want to make sure that the soap fully gets sealed inside. And right before we pour, I'm going to be spraying a bunch of isopropyl alcohol all over it, just so that hopefully this new soap, batch of soap, is going to seal to this batch of soap from actually 2 days ago, not 24 hours. I had planned on doing it the next day and it didn't work out. Baby Bubbles needed me to stay with him and it got too late. So this is 2 days later, so I'm really hoping that this is gonna adhere, and I'm gonna go ahead and make some soap. So let's go ahead and get to mixing. So as always, the first thing I'm gonna do is I'm gonna pour my water and lye solution through my strain, and you can see there's a bit of lye in there still, and that's okay. That's why I strain it. I also don't do a super fat on my soap, so that way any lye that is kind of left out there, it's not a very large amount, but that'll just kind of give it a super fat content as well and make it a little more moisturizing, or allow the moisturizing characteristics to come through on the soap, because we cannot make claims here. Okay, so I am, oof, almost dropped that. That's not fun. Okay, so I am gonna go ahead and put this to the side because it keeps falling, and I'll be right back. Alrighty, so I've got my mixer and I'm gonna go ahead and mix. So cue mixing montage. Okay, and it looks like we are just past emulsification, so I'm gonna go ahead and take that off of my mixer. But I'm gonna put a little over half. A little over half, yeah, for the sky, and then I'm saving the rest for the frosting. So I'm gonna scrape out my container real quick. I told you guys in the previous segment, this is a very detailed soap, and I am hoping that it comes out right. I think this is gonna be the most detailed soap I've done. Oh my gosh, was all of that out of frame? If that was all out of frame, I'm really sorry guys. I didn't notice that. I just mixed the white for the top of the piping, for the top of the soap, and then I mixed a cyan-y sky blue color. And now we're gonna be doing the crisp juniper from Nurture Soap, and we're gonna be popping that fragrance in. These are our sun and some little clouds that are gonna be going inside the soap as well. And what I did is I made these out of soap dough and then allowed them to harden. I am gonna douse everything in some isopropyl alcohol. It's 98%, 99%. I can't remember at the moment, and I'm not sure where the bottle is. I just have my spray bottle. So I'm gonna start spraying all over this baby. And then I'm gonna spray these. And just really coat them in it really well. This is gonna help it to adhere. So, okay. So they are coated, and I'm gonna go ahead and get this first part in our soap. And since we have that edge that has a very small space with it, I'm gonna kind of tap it on the floor. What I'm gonna do here is on this side, I'm gonna be putting the sun on this side of the mountain. And then I'm going to be putting, I need to put a little bit more but I'm going to be putting the clouds on this side. So I'm going to just kind of push that down a bit. And I'm plopping that down too. And actually I feel like it's getting crooked, so I'm kind of get my fingers in there a little bit more. Okay, I'm gonna plop the rest of this in, and it looks like it's thickening up. So I'm gonna get my spatula and kind of tap it. So I'm gonna go ahead and clean this up a bit because we've got a little bit of overflow here. And since we're gonna be piping on this today, I want to make sure that it's cleaned up before we take it out of the mold. We're almost to the consistency that we want for the piping, but not quite, because I don't want it to be as thick as I usually allow it to get, because I want it to look like billowy clouds in the sky. And then we'll have our last embed on top. So go ahead and let it thicken up just a bit more, so we'll be back. Okay, so this is much thinner than I usually work with, but I want it to have that billowy look. So the next embed and the final thing we're doing tonight is something that is huge in New Mexican culture as well. It is my homage to Hatch chili. New Mexicans live, breathe, and eat this chili all year round. If you're in New Mexico around chili season, you will see the chilies being roasted, sold by 30-pound bags, and people are buying like 60, 90 pounds each, and then you peel them and freeze them, or freeze them, don't peel them. That's a huge debate. Whether the flavor is better if you do it before or after, it's a huge debate. But one of the things that people do as well to dry out their chilies is make chili ristras. And chili ristras are a huge thing I remember from being a child. We used to hang them up on our porch, all over our porch, when we were drying out our chili. They start out green, and as they're drying out, they turn red. And then to decorate them, a lot of people will get the twine or corn husks and make like a top to them and decorate it. So there's gonna be chili ristras on this soap. And these took me forever to make, but they were so worth it. I really like how they came out. I made quite a few, and I'm gonna try and use the thinnest ones so that way we can get as many soap bars out of here as possible, because I don't wanna like cut and mess up the chili ristras. So we're gonna have 7 bars of soap. This is gonna be a very, very exclusive. So if you want one, make sure you order right away. And I'll see you guys tomorrow for the cutting. Hey guys, we're back, and I think we're on like day 4 or 5, and I'm gonna go ahead and start cutting. Hubby is home, so there won't be very much commentary. I'm just gonna do a nice little montage, so strap in.